Welcome to my channel Conscious Growing. I'm Matthias. And today I want to talk about some of the old patterns of the nervous system that repeatedly happen in the here and now when you're on the recovery path from chronic illness, anxiety, and so on. And this is what this channel is all about. And I want to mention one more time that I'm just a ordinary guy. I'm not a health professional. I'm not a doctor, no psychologist. Everything I share here is just the things that helped me through my recovery, and of course all the mistakes I made and all the things that helped me. And the further I went, the more clarity I got, and this kind of informations I want to share here. And one of the very common things in recovery is this. So we easily have difficulties to structure our days when we are in high anxiety, when we have lots of symptoms. And one of the reasons is we are focused on the symptoms, focused on this unpleasant stuff, but usually don't, at least in the beginning, aren't able to digest it in a more healthy way because we are so caught up. And one of the things everybody's experiencing is when you are in high anxiety and fear, that it feels like that the system is hijacked. And when I say system, I mean the entire body, but I also mean our thinking capacities, our thoughts. We think we can't, we are not able to have any reasonable, proper thought when we are in these states of high adrenaline in our systems and trying to escape these states and so on. And of course, when we look a little bit closer, even people with high anxiety, they have their peaceful times and moments. Nobody is in a high state of anxiety the whole time through. It might feel like, and you might have anxiety continuously through the day and symptoms continuously through the day, but there's always some rest or some relief, because simply the body can't produce all this adrenaline and these stress chemicals 24/7. This is impossible, even if it feels like. But what happens if we are often in this state, let's say a few hours every day, then it's really hard to lead life or these daily tasks in a easy or proper way. So what I mean is, when you feel all this adrenaline and when you're stressed out, it's hard to focus on one thing. And I think most sufferers even struggle to have some kind of a schedule. So you get up in the morning and then you feel, wow, there's this awful feeling again and high anxiety, and immediately the brain starts to interpret this and say, okay, this is going to be a difficult day today. And then you're manifesting your future hours of this day. And so what easily happens with people is that when you're in this high arousal state, that you're trying to concentrate on something, and then you have another thing in your head, and then maybe you have to have an appointment, but you feel so awful and you wonder how you can manage it. And then you don't get things done really. And you always fall back to this awful state, to this rumination, to this all these what if questions and so on. And then these days feel like you're all consumed by your symptoms and especially by your adrenaline, which really sets you in this fight or flight most of your days. And as you know, unfortunately, there is no stop button in the moment. So when this happens, you have no other choice than to accept and allow and to be with it in the best of your abilities. But to do so, it's very important to have some kind of a schedule and some kind of a plan how to navigate yourself through these days. So what I mean is, it can be really helpful to write down a schedule, in best case for the whole week. Also, you want to have a look, what is my baseline? What am I able to do on my worst days? And then you can write it down and really take some time in one of the clearer moments and just have your checklist. What am I able to do? I can get up, I can go to the bathroom in the morning, can have a shower, I can make my breakfast on my own, I can have a little walk, I can call a friend, I can cook something for lunch. I'm resting in between even. I give even resting time is part of the schedule. And then you see, okay, this is the baseline for the moment. And therefore it's good really to see, okay, really feel what can I do on my worst days. And then you follow this plan no matter what, no matter how you feel. So what will happen is that the amygdala will try to hijack you, because it will say, oh, look at him or her, they are active again, they're trying to get stuff done, and they refocus themselves. And so this will start some more alarms, because this is expected, and the amygdala, the limbic system, still tries to protect you and will see your efforts to structure yourself as a threat. And therefore you have to be prepared that this will happen. So your job is to allow these symptoms to come up, even when they're very intense, and you can pay some attention, you can acknowledge, okay, I feel strong fear right now, I have intense symptoms, I acknowledge that, just for a few moments, but then you redirect and you come back what you want to do, what's on your schedule. And even here it's important to see it not too strict, because otherwise your achiever will be very dominant, maybe, when you think I have to do it exactly in the same day and exactly at 1 o'clock I have to do this and that. It's just more important that you have something on your list and you follow one task after the other. And when you do this constantly, your brain sees, oh, look at her, look at him. They are following their plan despite the symptoms. So she or he must be okay. So, and this will bring less symptoms, because the amygdala will slowly start to trust you again. But when symptoms are strong, okay, you acknowledge, but you follow your plan. But now here's what's easily happens is when the adrenaline rushes and you can't think properly and all these catastrophic thoughts are occupying you, then it easily happens that you are caught up and then you don't follow your schedule anymore. And then you end up in um, restless thinking. And this will cause more stress. And then when your stress is higher, you will see that the schedule itself will stress you out. So you will feel, oh my God, I have to do all these things, and look how awful I feel, I can't do this. And that what many people do, they come back to these patterns, they start something, and then they think about the other thing, and then they get stuck, and then they have thousands of thoughts in their mind, on their mind, and then they're not able to follow the next step again because they try to do 3 or 4 things at a time. And therefore, it's important to wind back somehow and to say, okay, I feel awful, I have these intense symptoms, my limbic brain wants to occupy me, and it's very strong, but you can make the decision, okay, what is the next step? And then you see, okay, the next step, what was on the plan? The next step was the walk, 10 minutes walk. So I do the walk and I leave everything aside. And I take my symptoms with me and I allow them to be there, as strong as they want, but you decide to go for the walk. And you do this exact 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is for you, but you follow your schedule, one step at a time. This is so important because the nervous system pattern, so to speak, wants to keep us in alarm mode. And the alarm will be there and it will feel terrible at times, but there's no other way to retrain your brain than to allow this unpleasant stuff to be there and not fight it and carry on with your day as good as you can. But if you see this point is if you don't have a plan what to do next, the next step, then you will be all consumed by your symptoms. And then you might typically grab your phone, scroll the phone, looking for the right video, get distracted somehow because you don't want to feel it and all this stuff. But you want to build up some resilience in yourself, and therefore you have to stop these patterns of doom scrolling, for example, and there are many more. And so it's very important to remind yourself, okay, what's next on my list? And sometimes we have to give these intense storms some space, and we can say, okay, I give you a few minutes now, I'll show whatever you have to show. I'm sitting here with you, I'm comfortable, I'm sagging into these sensations, but not for too long, otherwise it will consume you. And then you come back to your schedule, you redirect, and so therefore you show your brain, okay, I can tolerate you, you can be here, you can do whatever you want, but at the same time I continue to do my daily tasks. And in best case, it's filled with some stuff we have to do, like mentioned, like being in the bathroom in the morning, doing the coffee, having the shower. But in best case, you also fill your day with fun things you really like. The nature, the walk, listen to some music, writing some things down, whatever it is for you, because now I want to explain why this is so important and where is it coming from. Because it's quite likely that this pattern of the nervous system is in high gear, is full of adrenaline, is just some of the old energies you always had within yourself. It was always part of you. But until this point where you got symptoms and anxiety, you still functioned. You were in adrenaline, you were in this mode, but you went to work, you took care for your children, you went to sports, and many of us, especially Westerners, were so occupied 24/7 with tasks and things, and high achievers full of adrenaline without really recognizing it. But now the machine said, stop, you're doing too much, you're too fast, too much at the same time. So in other words, these signals are your friend. They want to invite you to moderate your days in a different way, and even more your whole life. So from my point of view, it's not about to come back to the old life and come back and then be a high performer and high functioning again. I really think it's important, it's possible that we are stronger than ever before after going through this process, and we might have even more capacities than we had before. But we also want to use this body and this system in the most efficient way. And the most efficient way isn't to be in gear all the time and always busy with something and always stressed out. So what we experience right now is just something we did all our life. And now this is the invitation to say, okay, slow down a little bit. Have some rest in between. Just leave all devices. Just sit with yourself. Just look out of the window for a few moments. And then slowly continue with one task at a time. And this will change a lot, I can promise. Because you can imagine your nervous system as a little own being within you, and this little being is listening. It has ears, and it's listening to your emotions and also to your behaviors. And if you're fast forward all the time, and if you have 10 things on mind at the same time, then this little being inside of you is stressed out, and then it will just kind of use some breaks to keep you from going so fast. So it invites you to learn to act and behave in a different way. Have breaks, pause, one thing at a time. again and again and again. But this old energy is there, this adrenaline is there. It's some kind of an addiction, you can say. So we are addicted to be always in gear. So we have been like this for decades, probably. And now you want to retrain this habit of a lifetime and use new means to change this. And you can go a little bit slower. You can train this. For example, when you listen to someone, you can decide to fully listen to this person. Most of us are so up in our heads and we lost this ability to listen to someone. And this is all part of what I'm talking about here. It's like we're listening to someone, but our thoughts are above the thoughts of the other already. We want to say our opinion. We want to speak out what we think about it instead of listening. But it's also so nice to train this. It's like you take a step back and you start to listen and give space to the situation. And then you might give space to your answer. And then maybe your answer will be different. Maybe it's not out of habit. Because if we don't give space for our own answers, we respond habitually. This is one of the things. But if you want to explore something new within you, this space you give to yourself in this moment or in any other moment along the day, you can train this. And your nervous system will love it. It will love it because it sees like, wow, okay, now slowly I start to trust that this person who was always stressed out, who was always fast, is using some new means, and she or he does it repeatedly. So it becomes your new nature, your second nature. And you go on like this, you go on like this. So you are able to calm down yourself. And you don't need specific methods. Still, I have a special opinion about it. To use methods to calm down your nervous system, if you use it to reduce your anxiety, your symptoms, it's always a message to the brain, look, he's trying to solve something. And you do it because you want to get rid of it. And your survival system it's very primitive, but it's at the same time it's smart to understand if you are authentic or if you're kind of cheating yourself. And by cheating I mean you try to do some exercise to feel better, and that might work temporarily. You might have some relief temporarily, no doubt about it. But somehow you want to come to the root cause, and by root cause I don't mean your old trauma and your story and all of this. It's just about the patterns. And when you are able to change some patterns, then your whole system will start to operate differently. But as we know, it takes time, it needs patience, it needs a new mindset to understand why you're in this state, and even more, that you find means for yourself to get out of this state. And this is just one example, and it can have a huge impact on your recovery. So thank you for today, and I would love to know what you think about this and what are your personal experiences. Leave it in the comments, and please, if you haven't done yet, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, send it to someone who might need this today. And as you know, I do these videos in English and German, mainly in German, because this is my mother tongue. And yeah, so share it and help to let this channel grow and let this information grow, because I think it's very important for many people out there who suffer from symptoms and anxiety, and they have no clue how to get out of it. So it's very important material. So thank you for this, and on top of it, I want to offer that it's possible to have a one-to-one coaching with me as well, and you can find it in the link in the description, and there is a formula, and you can just write me a short message, and we can have a half an hour Zoom call together, and then see if we are a good match for some work together. So I would love that. So feel free to check this out too. And yes, I wish you a good day, and we will talk soon. Bye.